He alluded to Ryan and how, like, Tank said Ryan only had the hook, and Tank saying, like, well, it's a one-trick pony. If you don't know boxing, you should know how to disable a guy's hook if that's the only thing he has.
Oh, absolutely. Well, maybe like Ryan, I said that Ryan needed a little bit of development. That was his first big fight, his first real test. I hope wish him and his family well, and hope that he can get back, get back to the main stage, so to speak. But yeah, at this stage, you have to have more than one tool in the toolbox. And Devin will expose Lomachenko if he thinks that if he's only preparing for the jab.
Speaking of the Ryan and Tank fight, what'd you make of it? And my follow-up will be, what'd you make of how it ended?
It was a good fight between two very talented young fighters. I believe that, and gave Tank the edge and experience, and it showed. Under the bright lights, Tank doesn't freeze up, and neither does Devin. I think Ryan Garcia got caught up in the lights. He overextended his right hand and gave him the liver. It ended the way that God's plan.
A lot of people have suggested that Ryan could have continued and that he quit in the fight. What do you make of that, with people bringing that up?
Well, then I could just say that you've never been hit in the liver.
No, speaking of which, too, last weekend, Tony Weeks, he's not refereeing this fight, is he? With what happened with Rolly and all that?
No, Tony Weeks isn't refereeing the fight. I disagree with the stoppage as well. But it's just one of those kind of things, man. Rolly was throwing punches that were unanswered, but they weren't punches that connected when we look back on the instant replay or whatever. So those are one of those things. I wish both teams well, and then hope that Tony Weeks can not get too much criticism, but. Is it warranted? He has a tough job. So.
I'm glad you said it like that, because very rarely do I feel fans get to know that aspect of, like, that job is hard. There is blocked vantage points. If you're behind a fighter, you can't see stuff, and it could, from our eye when we're watching on the TV cameras, like, we see everything, but them sometimes it's blocked and everything like that. So it's a lot harder of a job than what people think. Same with the judges. The judges miss a lot of stuff when they're judging fights due to, like, blocked vantage points and all that.
Yeah, well, I mean, there is a such thing as human error. You know what I mean? There are not robots that are doing this. So we have to understand that humans do make mistakes. And like I said, I don't want to rain too bad on that ref or that fight. I'm looking forward to May 20th and Vasiliy Lomachenko.
Tank obviously beat Ryan. A lot of people are calling for that fight between your son and Gervonta. Do you think it happens? Are you confident it happens? Is it a fight that you feel that it must happen, if not at 135, at 140?
Well, just like, we're for the people, by the people, of the people. And I will continue to say that it's going to be a great fight, especially that those guys when we become victorious on May the 20th, two undefeated fighters. Why wouldn't you want that to happen? As a fight fan, that's something that I would like to see it. As a coach, we're prepared for it, and as Devin's father, I believe in him. So for all intent and purposes, that's something that we look forward to, but we cannot look past Vasiliy Lomachenko. We're 100% concentrated on May the 20th. And being victorious, and then we can answer those questions.
Overall, how was the mood coming into this fight, and what do you feel is on the line for you guys outside of the undisputed titles and being #1 at lightweight?
It's like the last day of school, right? When the summer is about to start, you just can't wait. You're looking forward to that day, that last day of school. You got your outfits out, and you just can't wait. That's what we are right now. We're just cannot wait for this fight to happen. This is something that Devin has been waiting to do for the last 4 years. We've had unprecedented resistance from Team Lomachenko, as well as what he's been saying. But we know that this is a fight that the people want to see, all right? We don't take anything away from the 3-division world champion with 2 Olympic medals, and it's just a fight that we know that the people wanted to see, and now that it's happening, we couldn't be more excited.
A lot of people, I don't know, I feel like on one hand, a lot of people are picking your son because he's younger, he's bigger, he's longer. other people are saying, whoa, this is a really, really close fight. Do you feel we kind of fall in the middle, or do you feel that, like, nah, like my son is the favorite for a reason, and all those things that I just listed is why?
Well, you see, right, when you see him stand up there, there's no big size difference like everyone is saying. It's a matter of skills. Of course, everyone that is giving their opinion because they haven't been in the ring, it's all based on an eye test. I respect whichever opinion someone has. If they don't like Devin's style, or if they don't like Lomachenko's style, it will be decided on May the 20th. It will come down to the fighter with the best skills, and we just think that we have an advantage. We think that Devin is something that's truly special. I can't give away the details to what makes him special until after May 20th, but you'll see a dominant performance for sure.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Dominant performance for sure.
When you look at the last two fights of Vasiliy Lomachenko, do you see that, like, he's not the same fighter? Or do you feel he's still the same? It's just the last fight it's a little tough because the guy was a sparring partner. And when you fight sparring partners, it's kind of tough when you fight those guys because they know you so well.
Well, yeah, a sparring partner will have a certain expectation from you, but it's still a fight. He won his last fights. We take nothing away from him or take any credit away from him. We know that right now at being at the top of the game, everyone gets up for you. So it's not surprisingly that Ortiz got up for him. But we take him very serious. Lomachenko, we don't think that he's lost a step in any stretch of the imagination. We're preparing for a healthy, I would say an active Lomachenko. As long as he's healthy, we know that he'll come to the on fight night. He'll be active.
Yeah, because a lot of people have suggested about Vasiliy that he's lost a step, that he's not quite like spry like he was a few years past. But it's like it's weird because, like, I don't know how you can really gauge it because of the last fight with like you mentioned with the sparring partner, and maybe he didn't get up for that one because of the name of this opponent. But given that this is what he said is his last chance to be undisputed, in his opinion, and knowing that Devin's a really high-skill guy, you got to expect, like, no, we are going to get, like, the Loma that everyone's used to.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Devin is getting up for Loma. Loma's getting up for Devin. So you expect for a high-level, high-intensity fight. Loma hasn't lost a step. He's in his prime. He's younger than Terrence Crawford. You know what I mean? So for all intent purposes, we expect Lomachenko.
So I know you've brought it up to Vasiliy. Devin's brought it up to Vasiliy. I mentioned his clinch work on the inside and how you feel that he could be a little bit dirty on the breaks. Is that the only thing you guys noticed that you feel that he does dirty, or is there other things that you guys have noticed in doing the prep for this that you feel like, nah, like this guy does some sneaky stuff in there?
Well, if the ref says break and he says to break, but you break and then you get hit on the break, it's different. So we'll see what kind of approach the ref has for that. I've heard before when the ref says, when I say break, you must break. Whatever I say, you must obey. But at the same time, once you break, then you run an opportunity of getting hit. So we just asked. I know Devin did. He asked him, "Do you plan on hitting on the break? Or do you, what do you do? Kind of just, I guess, getting in his psyche, getting in his head. But ultimately, we look for the fight to be decided in the ring between those two men and it be a fair fight.
Yeah, Vasiliy, I don't know if he dismissed Devin's jab, but he mentioned, like, hey, if you don't know boxing really well, of course you're not going to be able to manage the jab. And it kind of come off like he's kind of dismissing him in a way. But have you been watching what he's been saying about Devin's skills and the jab and all the tools that Devin brings into this fight? And if you have, like, what do you make of his approach, his response to that?
Well, at this level, if you only have one tool in the toolbox, you run it short. So, and if he's expecting Devin to him to only neutralize the one tool in his jab, then he's going to be surprised. I don't go into it and say that Lomachenko only does one thing well. I know that he does several things well, and it's about Devin making the right adjustment on May 20th.
May 21st, is he still staying at lightweight, Devin? Or is this the last hurrah, the last dance at lightweight, and he's going to move up to 140, you feel?
Of course, I enjoy watching Devin, handle all those belts, carry around all those belts. he's looking well, his face and everything. We're having a great camp for all intent purposes. He's looking better than he was against George Kambosos going into the fight. So
Stay in LA way then.
if it was up to me, looking at what's going on right now, he would definitely still be there. But that'll ultimately end up a decision that Devin makes, and he'll make it after the fight.
Yeah, because I remember the second Kambosos weight cut. He looked like pretty sunken in, and I didn't get a good look at him today. But he doesn't look like that last thing, the last fight. What made the difference, you feel, with the weight cut this time around?
I just think that the unknown, a lot of being in Australia and not having your usual diet, your usual atmosphere, so to speak. So that played a big factor in it. Not going over there but once, but going over there twice. I think this being here in Las Vegas is playing to Devin's advantage because he has more familiarity with everything that's going on, and the weight seems to be coming off much easier.